This is Up the Rovers.
Welcome along to episode 3 of Up the Rovers, the official Featherstone Rovers podcast, brought to you by LS11 Media and Proper Sport. Big thanks, of course, to the main club partners, KP, Millennium Support, Went Valley Aggregates and Wakefield AFC. And for those listening on YouTube, make sure you follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Up the Rovers is where the podcast will be based long term. And we'll have more details on that of the first season, of course, of Up the Rovers of 10 episodes. And this is episode number 3. And we have, for episode number 3, we have 3 amazing guests for you this afternoon or this evening or the morning or whenever you're listening to this. First of all is the Featherstone Rovers football manager, and that is Steve Gill. Hi, Steve. How you going?
How we doing, Daz? We all right?
Yeah, not too bad at all, mate. Not too bad at all. Also joining us is Chisel Chips himself, the Rovers scrum half. It is Dane Chisholm. How you doing, Chisel?
Yeah, good, thanks. Hi, Ron. Thanks for having me.
No, absolutely fantastic to chat with you, Dane. And not just one, not just 2, but 3. And it's the big new signing for Featherstone Rovers. It is, of course, New Brown. Good day, New. How you going?
Yeah, good. Thank you for having me on here. Can't wait.
Can't wait to be chatting to you about everything Featherstone Rovers. And, of course, if you've got comments or anything like that, get in contact with Featherstone Rovers, of course, on Twitter and on their social media, of course.
Up the Rovers, the official Featherstone Rovers podcast.
Okay, right. Where should we start? I suppose we should start really with, we're in another lockdown. Everybody's really sort of feeling it. It feels this time round. If I come to you first, Dane, how have you been doing so far this time round? Any homeschooling going on? What are you up to?
No, my little one's a little bit young for that. She's right into all the little YouTube things and her toys and her Play-Doh sets and stuff. So it's pretty easy to keep her happy as long as she's got food in her hand. She's all right. So I've had my missus working upstairs. She's still working, but she works from home. So I've got my little one most of the time. And then I've just been trying to find a few things outside of football to focus on while we're doing our training from home.
Yeah, and I suppose that's the key, is sort of like finding other stuff to sort of like think about. I'm going to come to one of those things that you've been doing very shortly because I found it very intriguing. It's been all over the news. Steve, what about yourself? You look if anybody's watching us on YouTube, you look very relaxed in some sort of gazebo in the west wing of your house, I think. Tell us what lockdown's been like for you.
Just looking after parents and family and things like that, and obviously looking after boys, making sure they're tested and making sure that it's a safe environment for them to come back into training and keeping on top of them. But I must admit that the boys have been fantastic in everything they've done, everything they've been asked to do, doing all the modules, doing all the COVID testing, keeping themselves safe. We have had 1 or 2 cases, but we've dealt with them quickly, and the boys have isolated really well. And, we're back in training now and we're stepping it up this time 3 days a week, which is good. And we've been able to test the boys 3 times a week when they've come in, which is phenomenal for me.
Excellent stuff. And you, as the new boy, what's lockdown been like for you? You've come over and then obviously everything sort of like went locked down again. How's it been for you?
Yeah, it's been pretty surreal. I've been in Australia for the last 10 years, but then I went back home to New Zealand to visit family the last 3 months, and everything's completely normal there. The restaurants, bars, everything's just completely normal. And then coming from one extreme to the other, straight into lockdown, and then getting COVID the last 10 days. So it's been pretty it's been different, but it is what it is. Just happy to be here and happy to be a part of an amazing club.
Yeah, like you said there, you've been suffering with COVID. Are you feeling okay? Are you okay? Are you all right?
Yeah. So today's the last day of my isolation. It is definitely real. I was quite ill, just massive body aching, but it feels good to be back to my normal self and just been on the bike since I've been in isolation and just getting through each day. But, I can't wait to be back with the boys coming Friday training. So I'm excited.
Brilliant. Oh, that is good news. It's interesting, isn't it? You mentioned about New Zealand. Everything's sort of like me and the wife were talking last night about how we really probably should emigrate to New Zealand right now because it seems like the place to be in the world.
Man, everyone is like talking about it on social media. Like there was a massive festival that just went on, and I think there was probably about 5,000 to 10,000 people there, all scrunched up together. So it was quite different to see people all together. But yeah, it is completely normal. But hopefully England, we'll get to that place soon.
Yeah, I hope so. I really, really hope so. Dane, how's it been for you? Because obviously, I mean, this is the first time I've seen you since the end of last season that we which was the Hunslet game, I think it was. How's it been for you over the course of this year? How have you kept yourself sort of like motivated and fit? Because you're back in training now, which is fantastic, but it must have been quite tough over the course of this last year.
Yeah, definitely. For me, I've moved over here to play football. I've been here for coming on 6 years now, but all I want to do is play rugby. That's why I'm over here. And when footy stopped, it was just it felt like my life's just been, everyone's life's just been put on hold, hasn't it? We're just waiting to get past this and just crack on and do what we all want to do in life. But yeah, I just want to get back on the field and start playing some footy and take my mate Neil out for some food. I keep messaging him saying, mate, trust me, I've got the food spots and I want to show him what Leeds is all about and take him to all the nice food spots, but we haven't been able to yet. I'm dying just to let my wings spread and fly around.
All right. Well, we need to know the Chisel Chips choice of food spots. Where are you thinking once everything's open and back to some sort of normality? Whereabouts are you thinking of taking New?
Well, I might start him off with Tattoo. Really nice. It's really nice. Real nice Asian food. I like all my Japanese, my Chinese, my Vietnamese. I got a few nice little spots. Go find him some nice banh mi rolls, which I know he'd know from Sydney too well himself.
Yeah.
I got the cheap spots and I got the expensive spots. I got the mid-range spots. Whatever your price packet will get you there.
New, how does that sound to you? Does that sound okay? Is there any particular sort of English fare that you're really keen on, or is it you're more a man of the world food?
Mate, as a Pacific Islander, us brown boys love to eat anything. So anything that's more about quantity than quality. So
no, is it right that you like corned beef? Islanders love corned beef.
Every Islander loves corned beef.
Yeah, Jesse sent on the forward said that's his favourite meat, corned beef. Believe it.
Yeah, it's good meat, but it's definitely bad on the hips.
Oh, yeah, I can attest to that, definitely. Corned beef is with chips or with salad. It's corned beef. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with corned beef.
Corned beef stew and dumplings. When you're better, you come to our house and I'll make you some
beef stew and dumplings. There you go.
I'll hold you to that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind that myself. Really, wouldn't mind that myself. Obviously back in training now, guys. And obviously, you're saying after your isolation, you're going to be back on Friday. What's it been like, Dane, to be back in training and just back with the boys again? It must be just such a relief.
Yeah, it's awesome. We had that little period where we went back in, and then we had to all go back home for 10 days. So that was a little bit disheartening, but we're all good to go now. We've had a few weeks of training twice a week, and as Steve said, we can start training 3 times a week now. So we can start amping up a little bit. I think our groups will start getting a little bit bigger, and we can start getting a little bit closer to each other. And yeah, it'd be good. It'd be good to start throwing the ball around and start practicing our combinations and doing some attack with the ball in hand, because lately it's just been a lot of running. So I'm happy to see the back of that, hopefully, and just start getting the ball in my hand. Yeah,
I can imagine. Is it hills? That seems to be the one that always comes up in training. And certainly in the last episode, we talked about that. Is that the bit that you most enjoy?
I don't like the hills. But to be fair, Greg's been real good this year. He knows that with all the boys being out of action for so long that a lot of injuries are just around the corner. So he's eased us right in. It was pretty easy the first couple of weeks, and we've amped it up, but I think we've stayed off the hills for a reason this year, and I'm sure next pre-season we'll be doubling up on the hill runs.
Steve, it's difficult for any sporting club, I think, going through this pandemic to be able to sort of like get everybody back together, keeping sort of things COVID safe. What's it like from your point of view in sort of how you've had to organise all this and the extra work that you've had to sort of like put in to be able to get this sort of thing going and get training going again?
It's been easy, really. It keeps me busy. If not, you get bored, don't you, at home and that. But going back to hills now, we're not allowed to train in public venues. The guys are not allowed to run up Pontefract Park and use their hills. Well, we've got to have designated training areas, which is at the moment in time, it's his own training barn, which is a magnificent place to train in. It's so big and open, it's really good. And obviously, we use the 4G at St Wilfrid's High School, which we're forever thankful for them for allowing us to use it. So we're well covered for training and that, but unfortunately, we can't use any public places to train at this moment in time. But we understand that, and it's something we have to do. And I just say to everybody, as long as you follow rules and we listen, and the change is pretty regular, what we can do, what we can't do. Hopefully, we'll get through with as least cases as possible, and we'll get ready for that date in March when we can play again.
Yeah, because everything's looking forward to that now. And I'll just stick with you, Steve, about like the preparations that are in place for getting back to March. I mean, it's difficult to know what's happening at the best of times with this pandemic, isn't it? And you're sort of worried that sort of things will get put back. How confident are you? Do you think that things will kick on in March?
Oh, we're probably 70% confident in terms it'll start in March. We've seen that many false dawns at the moment in time, haven't we? So we can only prepare best we can to do the best we can when it's time. And if we do that, then we've done our job. It's what else happens in the world is beyond us. We can only control what happens at Featherstone Rovers. So I'm quite happy what we're doing, and I just know that we've got a great bunch of lads, a great coaching team, and a great club that cares about its players. We're building a real good culture at the club, and it'll be a good season if and when it does start.
Yeah, I think everybody's just looking forward to getting back out there. And you guys must be absolutely chomping at the bit. Obviously, you came over here to play, and you were going to be coming over here for last season. How did the move all come about? At what point did you Featherstone sort of like come into your world, and it was what the deciding factors of sort of coming over to here?
Yeah, so I just come back from. It's been a year since I've played rugby league. I'm just coming back from an injury that I've done 3 times. I broke a bone in my foot the last 3 times in 2 years, and the last surgery that I got, the surgeon said, you have to retire, and because you won't be able to run again. And for me, my mindset was I wanted to prove them wrong, and here I am. I'm in back running, pain-free, and so Featherstone came about when, obviously because of COVID, the whole world shut down. So even clubs are quite, they're quite strict on who they're signing. And, I was quite lucky enough, Webbo and the staff there, Steve, and that gave me a chance to, relive my career and to, make a point, or prove a point to a lot of people that I'm still here. I feel like I haven't sort of shown my full potential, and I guess I'm excited to show that with this awesome club.
Steve, obviously a fantastic signing. From Featherstone's point of view, how did it all sort of come about?
I think he has the same agent as Kingy, and because of the way Kingy spoke about Cameron King, that is, about the club, I think that got back to his agent, and then they contacted James. I saw some of news web things that he's put on the internet, and I noticed I keep in touch with Benny Roberts, so I signed at Castleford, and we talked. I asked Benny what sort of a lad he was. Everybody spoke really highly of him and asked him about his fitness. Benny said he's good to go, Steve. He had the same sort of injury that Benny had had. I spoke to Jesse Senella forward at Cass. He played with him. But one at close. What at Canterbury, Bankstown, no? Something like that. Bulldogs. and he gave him a big rap. He says, "Look, he'll absolutely tear it up at this level." And he's got ambitions. He's got aspirations to play Super League, and I know that's with Featherstone in 2022. And everything he's ever done, and everything I've ever heard of now, has been absolutely 100% top class. He wants to come. He wants to play with Featherstone, and he's done everything that's been asked of him. And I can't wait to see him out on park. It's going to be, with the new signings that we have made and the pivots and the spine of the club now, he's really come a long way since those early days of 2019 when I first joined the club. And with about 10 or 11 players training, so there's some real competition for places, and we have to work really hard, I think, to get a number in that squad.
Well, new, obviously, I mean, one of the main attractions, obviously, to come into Featherstone was to be able to play alongside Chisel Chips himself in Dane Chisholm. I mean, that's obviously got a bit. That would have had to have been the deciding factor, I'm thinking.
He's paid you to say that. Chizzy's has paid.
I'll send you some money.
No, definitely. No, I think before I came over here, I sort of knew some of the players that were playing in the squad. And, I heard, obviously from the previous year when the boys lost against Toronto in the grand final to get into Super League, it just shows the club wasn't too far away. And hearing from the boys now, we've got a better squad now than what we had the year that the boys, fell short second. So I've played against Chiz once when he was playing for the Bulldogs and I was playing for the Sharks back in New South Wales Cup, and he ripped up. I think we won that game, but that was probably the first time I've seen Chiz play, and from then I knew his attacking ability. He's an off the cuff play. He plays what's in front, and for me, and for me and Webbo, we're not about the whole pre-planning. Planning before we make the play. It's all about what's in front. And so for me, having Chiz there, having that instinct to run the ball or play what he sees, it just shows how confident he is, and hopefully our team will be confident and just being behind Chiz.
And Chiz, it must be quite exciting to, we're going to touch on the recruitment in a while, but it must be quite exciting for a Featherstone player that's been there a couple of years now to see the names that have been coming in and to be able to play alongside these players. And, they obviously hold you in high regard as well. And you become a bit of a pivotal player, obviously, in the team, but it must be great to see the sort of recruitment that's been around the club. Yeah,
definitely. I think most of the talk's been around our forward pack, which has always been a strong point of us at Fev since I've been here, and for it to get even stronger, it's it's pretty mind blowing with some of the players we've been able to recruit. There's going to be some really, really good forwards that won't be making the 17 each week, which is disappointing, but it's also a good thing for us as a whole squad because there's only a certain amount of numbers that we can fill, and then we've got so many good players, which means whether the season's longer or shorter, we're going to have that depth. And, we've also got that outside backs. We've got enough depth in our hookers. We've got 3 really, really experienced hookers, which is awesome. And in the halves, we've got a few hookers that can play in the halves. So we've got people that can play everywhere. And that's what we want, because I think back of 2019, that's probably where we almost got let down a little bit. We got struck with a couple of injuries and walking into the grand final, and we didn't have the quality to match what we lost. So it sort of showed in that last game. So I think if we make it all the way this year, we'll be in a much better position to take that step in the Super League and to hopefully win the grand final.
That will be a fantastic season. Certainly something to really look forward to. You're listening to episode 3 of the Up the Rovers podcast. Now, don't forget, of course, 2021 #unfinished business memberships are now on sale to celebrate 100 years of Featherstone Rovers, and the club want to inspire the next generation of supporters. So they're giving away Junior Rovers, that's 16 or under, memberships absolutely free of charge. You can register on the online superstore. So that's the 2021 #unfinished business memberships now on sale for Junior Rovers. It's absolutely free. That's for 16 and under.
This is Up the Rovers.
Well, we just sort of you like it? You liking the music?
Good. I like that. I'm going to play it a bit longer.
I do. There we go. A little bit longer. For people listening to the audio version of this podcast, you go to YouTube and have a little look, because Dane had a little bit of a boogie there. Let's just talk about some recruitment then, because we've talked about new. Steve, what's it been like to recruit during this year? Has it made it more difficult to recruit players, or I can't sort of get my head around that, sort of like not knowing sort of when you're going to get back to play and how difficult it is to sort of recruit high quality players like new?
I think it's been probably easier, especially with the lack of reserve grade now, and a lot of Super League clubs seem to be cutting the size of the squads. So probably been easier. There's been probably a lot more players, top quality players on market than there has been probably in the last 2 years. So we kind of took advantage of that. You know, I mean, we've said probably about 3 or 4 times this year that's it. That's all we're signing. And then Tom Holmes come along, and Craig Kopchak come along, and then the big panda come along, Junior Moores, and you know, the board's made money available, and I can't thank them enough in doing that. So we're starting with a squad of 31, which I think is unheard of in Featherstone's history. I might be wrong on that, but you know, that's all got potential of playing first team. And what we've done this year is, you know, we will be resting players. There will be players that we don't have to play week in, week out. We can throw that many shapes at clubs now, with the difference that we've got in spine and difference that we've got in players. It's so important that Webbo gets to know his best 17, but when it comes to playoffs, that's the important key. We don't have to play Junior every game. We don't have to play Craig every game, Fergie every game. We can look now at resting these players to make sure that we have got our best 17 available when it comes to playoffs, and we know what we're going to play. So, yeah, recruitment wise, it's gone pretty well. I'm excited about the underbelly that we've got at club with the young guys that we signed from Leeds, Castleford, that have all come through good academy programs that could be with Featherstone's, for a fair few years and develop. And then we've got his experience. But I was looking the other day, and apart from Gaz Gale, who's really training well at the moment in time, is Gaz, and I think he could be a bit of a star this year playing outside Chris Wellham. Most of our first 17s either played NRL or played Super League. So that's a good testament, I think, of his recruitment program this year. And I'm really looking forward to when Webbo comes with his headaches and he tells me after many players, which would be great for me.
Too many players. Do coaches usually come and say they've got too many players? And
They usually put their head in their hands and say, I've got to leave somebody out this week and things like that. But look, there's ways around it. Whichever happens, it's going to be a tough season. You're going to go to Bradford and play on that small pitch at Dewsbury. There'll be a team for that. There'll be an expansive team when we go to London. There'll be an expansive team when we go to Toulouse and things like that. And like I said, there'll be a team put together for each game that we play, and where we play, and what conditions we play, which is music to a coach's ear. That.
And Chisel, just having a look at the recruitment, when you see it all sort of like happening, what have your thoughts been as a Featherstone alumni now and been here for a little while? What's been your thoughts when you've seen the amount of players that they've been bringing in?
Oh, they haven't just gone out and recruited a whole heap of people. Steve and everyone's been smart about it. They've brought in the people that we need. So, obviously want a bit more size in the pack, and we brought in Copy and Junior, and we wanted some more depth in the halves and stuff. So we've got Holmesy, who can also cover hooker, and so can New. We've brought in Jonesy, who's another hooker, and all the recruitment we've done is smart. And as Steve's just spoken about, we can play on the smaller pitches. We can play on the bigger pitches now, because we've got so many players in the team, and we can now accommodate for each field. So, mate, I'm buzzing as a halfback to be able to sit behind a pack that we've got. And I think the hookers are going to have a massive year this year. playing behind the pack that we've got, and just with the new rules with the 6 agains, you know, get 1 or 2 penalties, and our hookers are going to have a lot of space around the ruck to be able to run. So I think this year it's just about getting my kicking game nice and strong, and just pushing whenever our hookers start to take off.
Yeah, exactly. I'm intrigued as well. When new players come in, you always hear sort of like about maybe initiations and maybe little pranks that sort of get played. Has anything happened since you've been here? Family podcast. So, what can you tell us about what the other players have done since you've got here?
No, they haven't really. They haven't really done anything, any pranks. Well, you can't really because of COVID, we can't really touch each other. So, yeah. But I think just the boys just teasing the way I talk and the way us Kiwis and Aussies talk. But that's just normal. And then, you know, obviously my family back home, that they're just telling me, you know, make sure you don't come back with an English accent. But I definitely won't be.
My dad tells me that every day.
But no, like regarding to like the squad and all that, like with the recruitment, I think Steve and Weber done a great job. I think as a whole, you know, to win a comp, you don't just need the 17, you need the whole 31, because there are going to be injuries, you know, and some of us can't play week to week. So I think because I've experienced what it's like to win a comp, you know, I think we in Cronulla we used 28 blokes out of 30. To win the premiership there, and then to play with the Bulldogs, we used for New South Wales Cup. We used the whole squad, so it takes the whole team to win a comp, not just the 17. So it's going to be good. You know, obviously the spot's up for grabs in halves and hookers. We can never be comfortable in the position that we are in, but you know, at the same time, it'll only make us better as individuals.
No, it's going to be a very, very exciting season. I think there's no doubt about that. If you look on any of the sort of social media and the fans groups, they're all getting very, very excited about seeing Featherstone play again. However, they're able to see that, and when crowds can get back in there, it's going to be awesome. I just want to touch as well, just on we've talked about a little bit about lockdown, and I spoke to Greg in the second episode of Up the Rovers about how, you know, his lockdown training tips of like how people can keep fit during lockdown. Chisel, how have you kept yourself fit over this year? Did you put on any lockdown weight? Have you been snacking a little bit more than usual, or what have you done to sort of like curb that? Because you know, I have struggled. There's still some quality streak from Christmas that I am gorging through. How have you been during this difficult time?
Yeah, honestly, I think everyone might have put a bit of weight on, but I think I've done well at timing when to get my fitness back. As you said, we were talking about earlier, just to get motivated was pretty tough. So I think I had a few peaks where I'd be running a lot, and then I'd have a couple of dips where I wouldn't do much for a couple of weeks. And then I've timed it pretty well. You know, I started running about 2-3 months, like proper getting into my running before we come back. So I think Greg's happy with where I'm at, but a little bit earlier. Did you watch the NFL match? See what Gronkowski's done in his lockdown? He's gone out and he's filmed himself in all these different shirts doing the one session, so he could just send in the one running session, but in all different shirts each week. I might have to do that next time. Save me from running so much.
Have they been sending you stuff so you got to like video? Because I know sort of like certain football clubs, you have to sort of like photo your weight and all sorts of things when you're in training. And some of them are coming up with quite interesting ways of getting around certain things. What sort of like pressure has Greg put on you to sort of like keep in trim?
So we've got the Strava app. Everyone's had to download it. It was compulsory that everyone downloaded it, and he'd send out the session in the group chat, and then we'd have to record it. And it's pretty disheartening. You get some people like Connor Jones and Gagga Gale. They're honestly running like 4-minute Ks over 8 Ks. So you're looking at their times and you're just going, what's going on here? Like, they've got to be putting it on their dog and just letting their dog go. They're way too fit. So it's a little bit disheartening, but you know, as long as I get the Ks in my legs, I think Greg's happy.
That's putting it on your dog. Does it work even if you've got it in your car and you're just sort of just driving down the road?
Yeah, I'm sure it would. I think that's what Jonesy does.
4-minute Ks is pretty fast.
It's freaky. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, that is insane. New, obviously, you've been isolating for the last few weeks. You'll be back in training. But before this, and sort of like, how have you sort of like kept fit? Obviously, coming out of that injury, it was easy to sort of keep fit over in New Zealand when things were a little bit more relaxed. It probably was a lot more easier, wasn't it?
It was definitely a lot easier back in New Zealand. I think being out for a year, not being able to be in a full-time environment, it was difficult. Usually because it's our job, it is easy when someone's telling us to do it. But for us to keep ourselves accountable, it was quite hard. But I knew my purpose, and I knew that where I wanted to get back, and here I am again. But yeah, definitely, like it's so different. Like over here during the lockdown, me and a few of the boys went down to a field, and some random guy just come over and he goes, "Mate, you guys have to jump off because you guys are not social distancing." But we were literally like 10 meters apart from each other, so it was a bit weird. But yeah, I'm pretty sure all of us athletes are doing whatever it takes for us to be in good shape.
And we're going to talk very soon about sort of like your thoughts ahead of the 2021 season, of course, and find out the extracurricular activities that Chisel Chips has been doing, and effectively part of some sort of global takeover. But we'll be talking about that very shortly. For those listening on YouTube, make sure you follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, because that is exactly where the podcast is going to be based long term. Make sure you like and subscribe and give a nice 5-star review.
You're listening to the Up the Rovers podcast.
There's a little bit of spray going on there. What is that?
Smoke machine. I got a smoke machine on my laptop.
Smoke machine on your laptop.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. Brilliant stuff. 2021 season. Before we get into the 2021 season, Dane, we do have to ask you, because I saw this stuff, and maybe a lot of people saw it in the news last week, all about this company GameStop. That suddenly was becoming sort of like the focus of all of these people that were sort of like online investing. And then when I was looking on Twitter, I realized you were one of these people that were sort of like dibbly-dabbling, becoming a bit of Gordon Gekko in Wall Street, lunches for wimps. What exactly, how did you get involved in it, and what exactly did everybody do? Because it just sort of took over the world, this thing.
Yeah, I've been into something else. It's like day trading on Forex. I've been making money basically buying and selling currencies, like drawing up charts and trying to find entries on how to make money. But it all sort of coincides with what's going on in Wall Street, and it all affects each other. So when I seen what was going on, I wanted to just do a heap of research and just find out what was happening. But basically the hedge funds, just like the retail trader normally just gets taken out by all the big dogs, all the banks and the hedge funds. But everyone come together to sort of take on the big man, and a group called Wall Street Bets has got 10 million subscribers. So it was enough power for, if everyone invested out of those 10 million, it was enough power to make the markets move. And so they all decided to invest in something that hedge funds were shorting. So hedge funds are making their money by shorting it. So if the price went down on game, they'd make their money. So they're basically making money off people's misery and people failing, which I just think it's wrong. And you shouldn't be able to do that. So all the everyday man just got together and decided to load up on this one stock, and it sort of went crazy. But that's just like the gist of it. But it's all pretty interesting. It's something to wrap your head around, and I think in a day like today where everyone's got access to the internet, these things, all the information's available, and I thought I just might get into it a little bit, and it's exciting. I like it.
It is very interesting because I think there's a lot of, that sort of world is a little bit murky, and I think they quite like that because then no one really understands what's happening, and even the terms that you use when you talk about shorting and you're hoping that the value goes down, you're betting on a value of a company going down effectively. I can't believe we've gone into this deep, but this is I do find this fascinating. I really, really do find it fascinating that all of these people have almost become Robin Hood, and although that was an app for a while, that have got together and are doing it. So, what if we were going to maybe you should do some online tutorials, Chisel, about getting people involved in this. Maybe this is there's an avenue here for you.
Oh, I'm terrible with stocks and shares and stuff, but I've been helping a fair few people out with the day trading side of things. One of the young boys, Callum Field, he's joined in with me, and I sort of mentor him a bit, and I've got my own mentors, and I'm in partnership with Jake Webster, so we're all sort of into it. We've got a good little crew, a fair few footy boys that have been doing it, and it's just something I think since lockdown, it's just something for us to do, and we've found out that that's pretty interesting, and you can make $1 just on your laptop. So yeah, if anyone wants help, you can always contact me. I'll be more than happy to help.
There you go. I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued. Steve, have you been aware of what's been happening, and is that something that you'd look to invest in, or obviously maybe mortgage, maybe the east wing of the Gill mansion?
No, not really. I did notice in July that the FT 100 actually dropped, and I did say to wife, it would be worth putting a few £1,000 in there because I reckon it'll come back up, and which it did. I think it dropped down to about 5.5, and I just said, be worth a few £1,000 putting in there because you'll just double your money overnight. And I think it's back up to about 6.5 now from initially being at an high of about 7.6, 7.7. So not that I keep much interest in it. So that's just my perspective on it. But now I'm probably a bit too old now and comfortable to start investing in stocks and shares.
Yeah, I'm a little bit scared of it. New, what about you? You're over here now. Has Dane tried to get you into this financial group?
No, he hasn't asked me about it, but I do see it on his social media. It is something that I'm actually quite interested in. I don't think I'm interested in doing what Chisel does, but I've been reading a lot into stocks and shares because I'm just trying to understand it all before I put some money in. So exciting times.
I think it is. It's lockdown has done this, hasn't it? It's just sort of like has expanded people's brains into this sort of thing. I'm wondering if it's still the same that you have to invest in frozen concentrated orange juice and pork bellies. But I think my whole persona for that it would be just watching Trading Places. So that's all I know. Buy, sell. Anyway, I could talk about this for a while. We should really talk about season 2021 anyway. Steve, just ahead of the season, obviously it's going to be different when we get to March, and it is going to be different. It is going to be, and we've sort of touched on sort of like the protocols. What sort of like rules are in place of like when we go back in, and how will it work? What will it look like? How will it work? What are the differences that fans might see, whether they're watching on a stream or whether they're in the stadium?
Well, I think that initially that's what you'll be watching on a stream. There'll be a red zone, which is the playing area, and then there'll be an amber zone, which will be the terracing area, and there'll be a limited amount of people in, and they've all got to pass an amount of tests. Obviously, the temperature, the well-being. They'll have a COVID test to pass with these lateral flow systems we've got, and there'll be lots of things that we have to put in place, and there'll be nobody allowed on site without my permission, being the COVID officer, and that goes for everybody. They all have to be named and they all have to be ticked off. And there were just little protocols, players getting off buses, instead of them all queuing up like they all do and all jump off together, they'll be called off. They'll be tested when they get into the ground. There'll be probably no showers initially after the game. So if we're if we go to Dewsbury and they've had a game on 3 or 4 weeks before, and that's going to be tough for players whether they do get a shower, because all showers have got to be isolated. So if there's 15 showers in a changing room, There might only be 7 of them be able to use. We'll probably have to use the home and away dressing room at Featherstone for the home team, and then the dressing rooms over the 30-metre stand for the away team. The referees have got to have their own individual stands, changing room. So that's going to be quite different. Hopefully the intensity on the field shouldn't make any difference. We should be able to play. Although watching football and things like that is quite hard at the moment in time without the fans there. But it's something that we're going to have to get used to. And because obviously lads want to play in front of Featherstone fans who are very boisterous and get behind the team in no uncertain terms. And we take a massive following away. So, they're the things that we will miss. However, the lads are professional enough and to go about and do the job as we expect them to do.
As COVID officer, does that give you like a high-vis jacket? Do you get like a hard hat, or does it come with any uniform?
I'm still quite getting on with my last uniform, which was a suit. I think it will measure for Charlie Caroli, that suit that I got, and so I think I'll just stick to wearing the black suit that I usually wear and the white shirt. And
Steve rocks up to training. He's got a big plastic shield and a 2-meter pole, and he pokes everyone. He prods everyone out the way if you get too close to him.
I learned that when we were on strike in 84, 85. That's what police used to do to us, and bother with these big riot shields and things like that. And I have to do it, just make sure they don't get close enough, and just keep reminding them. They're good lads. We do it in a joke and a laugh, and if they do get close, we just say, "Come on, guys, let's remember safety first." Because ultimately, my goal is to make sure that these guys don't take it back to the families, and they keep themselves safe. And for Featherstone people, that we've got a rugby team to watch come March, and they're all fully fit. But obviously, there's an underlying current there with the families and the kids and things like that. We don't want them taking it home and causing any problems at home either.
No, exactly. You've got to stay as safe as you possibly can. Looking on the bright side, and let's come to you first then, Chisel. The 2021 season, centenary season. I mean, obviously, promotion, that's probably the main target, but to get back playing is obviously the first thing to do. But what are your hopes that in best case scenario we're back and everything's okay and we're playing again? What's best case scenario, and what's the goal for you, for a team, but also for you personally this season?
For a team, would just be hit the ground running. We've been training pretty hard. We're just about to get back into all the skill sides of things and start getting our combinations together. But I don't think you'd be a part of a competition and not want to win it. You shouldn't be playing if you don't want to win the comp. So obviously that's what we want to do. That was our goal last year. That was our goal the year before. Nothing changes, but I'll probably, except for we've got a stronger squad this year. We've got more depth. So, as a team, we obviously want to get Feb to Super League, but me personally, I'm happy with my fitness is. I want to probably put a bit more size on in terms of gym. We've been out of the gym for so long, and they've been shut down. We can only do a certain amount of gym sessions at training, and then we've got to do the rest of them at home with the limited equipment that we have. So rip into the gym and then hopefully hit the ground running once I start playing footy and just take off where I left off.
Yeah, all about the gains. All about the gains.
I need to get a bit bigger because there's some big boys in this comp.
Well, talking about big boys, you're a big boy. Looking forward to this season. And for you personally, what are you hoping to get out of this season with Fev?
For me personally, I just want to, do the best job, I can do for the team. I know if I do my job right, and the team plays well, then of course we'll get promoted. For a team goal, I just want us to play good footy and to enjoy it. It's a surreal feeling to call rugby league your job, but also I know that we have the talent and the ability to be in the top league with the best players. And for me personally, I just want to get my name out there. I want people to know who I am, and I want to show that on the park and do that for my team. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I think we're all excited just to see everybody back out in the park and the new signing, Steve, as well. It will just make life a lot more better, won't it? Once sort of things get back to some sort of normality, and we're able to watch some footy again.
Yeah, we can tell us jokes again, can't we? In hospitality and things like that, can't we? We can meet people again. We can talk to them. We can.
Maybe we'll get rid of the jokes. I'm just saying. Maybe we'll get rid of the jokes.
Yeah, I've loads.
The one bonus of lockdown, I've not had to listen to Steve Gill's jokes. So there's been one bonus, Steve.
Well, they're all clean anyway, but I've loads more. So, it's just meeting people again, and hopefully they're still with us. And I've lost a few friends over the last 12 months as well. I was at COVID and things like that. So just getting to meet people, talking to them again, and getting that family atmosphere around ground, and hopefully, fingers crossed that we've got his best 17 out when it comes to grand final, and we can go, as Madness would say, one step beyond, as we did in 2019.
Nice Madness lyric there as well. Well done. Yeah, it's going to be an exciting season. There's no doubt about that. Listen, guys, thank you so much for joining us on episode 3 of Up the Rovers podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you for a little while this morning. I'm so much more excited about getting back to Post Office Road to watch you guys play again, and to watch you as a new player. I can't wait to see you smashing a few people there. So it's going to be great. It's going to be great to see. And also big thanks as well to Chisel for some financial advice. So I think everybody's learned something from.
Don't take it.
I'm sure we will. And Steve, always a pleasure to chat to you. And I would open it up for a joke from you now, but I know I don't want to put anybody under too much pressure. And if you did, I'd probably have to remove you from the stream. So a big thanks, of course. Now, don't forget, of course, 2021 #Unfinished Business memberships are now on sale. 100 years of Featherstone Rovers, of course, in the centenary year, and the club want to inspire the next generation of supporters. So we are giving away Junior Rovers 16 and under memberships for free. You can register on the online superstore. Big thanks to our main club partners, KP, Millennium Sport, Went Valley Aggregates, Wakefield AFC, and thanks, of course, to our producers of this podcast, LS11 Media and Proper Sport. Just leaves me to say thanks very much to Steve, to New, and to Chisel. Thanks for joining us for the podcast, and good luck with the season.
Can we just say, Darren, just tell Chiz, the best investment I ever made were in boomerangs. Apparently you get a good return.
Here we go.
Oh my God.
See you tonight, boys. Take care.
All right, see you guys. Thanks for having us.
Thanks very much. I should actually just play this for that, and I'll edit this in.
Let's go.
There we go. That's just for Steve there. But thanks very much for listening. We'll be back with episode 4 very shortly of the Up the Rovers podcast.
Up the Rovers, the official Featherstone Rovers podcast.